Good morning. Thanks for joining us here on NBC4i.com and Facebook Live. Talking with Coach Bill Conley, our Buckeye football analyst, as we look back at what was the glory of the Penn State game for the Ohio State Buckeyes, and they get ready for homecoming coming up against Indiana Saturday. Let's talk first about Penn State, Coach. I mean, the things that are most glaring to you as takeaways from that game, good and bad. What did you learn about Ohio State Saturday night?
Well, good. We made crucial plays in crucial situations. We scored 2 touchdowns, Jared, with 7 minutes to go in the ball game.
Right.
I mean, that's remarkable. So the entire offense, picked it up a notch. And I think the coaching staff did too, a much better game plan the second half.
Sure.
With screens and things like that. Defensively, we did a great job in their crucial situations. They only made 1 of 3 fourth down conversions. And, big stops when you had to stop them to not let them keep the drive alive. And, of course, kicking game, always important.
Yeah.
Drew Chrisman, what a punting game. Punted the ball, averaged 48 yards in the air. One was 58 yards. The most important thing about it, none we brought back, no returns.
Right, trapped them inside the 20 3 times. Played really well. Special teams overall, the coverage teams are excellent right now at Ohio State. They are flying down the field. There's a race to get to the ball. Let's talk about what you learned on the negative side for Ohio State. Obviously, the big play continues to remain a problem on defense. Gave up another 90-plus yard touchdown pass. The big play in a defense like this, you're playing press man coverage on the outside. You do expose yourself to the big play at times. They brought a lot of blitzes, and sometimes Penn State caught them.
Yeah, and what you have to do when you play man coverage, you got to take away the inside route of the receiver. And they threw a short pass, and then our safety took a bad first step, didn't have good leverage on the football, and there it goes. Yeah, we have got to prevent the big play. A 51-yard run they had and a 93-yard pass. Yeah,
there's some issues at safety, obviously some youth getting worked into the rotation. Perhaps that position improves as you go through the season. Perhaps this is a game where those guys get a little bit more of an opportunity. Indiana can throw the football very well. Very nice receiver core there. We'll talk more about that in a second. What you learned about the Ohio State offensive line in this Penn State game. In the first half, it looked like you and me were out there trying to block Penn State. They couldn't move the line.
Right.
Haskins under duress. Guys can't get open. It's all a factor. They come roaring out of the halftime locker room. Adjustments not only made, but attitude adjustments, it seemed, made as well.
Right. Both teams had trouble getting first downs in the first half. But we made a remarkable play with Tuff Borland causing the fumble, then the little screen pass to J.K. Dobbins. And so our coaching staff did make a great adjustments with more screen passes and things like that to keep them off balance. But the offensive line, it seemed like they weren't playing that great. But let's face it, they only gave up 1 sack all day. A team that had got 15 sacks during the year, we only give up 1.
Not bad at all.
Nope.
And that's why several of those guys graded out as champions in that game, because a lot of people thought, well, if you can't move the ball, you're not running it very well. Obviously, they're not blocking. Total view, sometimes that's not necessarily the case. I think Mike Weber continuing to contribute despite his foot injury. He's going to try to play again Saturday. A lot of guys banged up out of that game. Draymond Jones, Damon Arnett. Robert Landers is still kind of shaky. He's been for a couple weeks here. But those guys are still looking to play. They're not trying to rest anybody. It looks like they're trying to play through it and also play pretty well through it. I thought Draymond Jones had a nice game too.
Absolutely. And you know what? We've had 19 quarterback sacks already this year. And it seems like when somebody goes down, gets banged up, gets hurt, somebody else rises to the occasion. That's what great teams do. But you are right. We need to get some of those guys out of there a little bit. That's why it's important to score early against Indiana.
That's right. Give them some rest. I thought, Nick Bosa's probably still, I don't know, maybe a month away. I mean, we're all speculating. And, of course, Ohio State doesn't know the answer of when Nick Bosa's going to play again, if he plays again this season for Ohio State. He was at practice this week. I think the curious thing for me with Bosa is how his teammates reacted to it. No woe is me stuff, no, oh, the sky's falling. They went to work, Bill. They were tremendous the past 2 weeks. Chase Young in particular, Defensive Player of the Week in the Big Ten, not a fluke. He's a man-child, and that man-child became a full-blown man in State College, bullying his way to the quarterback several times. That, to me, seemed like a challenge answered from Chase Young.
Absolutely, and the rest of the defense front, because it's opportunity. Make the most of your opportunity. And like we said so many times, one reason the Ohio State defensive line is so tough is you can keep fresh, good bodies in there. They're athletic, Jared. They're athletic more than anything else. And somebody will always rise to the occasion for the Ohio State Buckeyes up front.
Let's talk about Indiana for a moment. The homecoming opponent coming in here 4-1 this season. Pretty good start for the Hoosiers. Yep. Kind of had to hang on last week at Rutgers. We'll forgive them for that one. Tough loss 2 weeks ago to Michigan State at home, a game that MSU kind of got rolling a little bit offensively. Ramsey, the quarterback, is from Elder High School in Cincinnati. Really good young player, a run-pass threat, leads the Big Ten in completion percentage. He is just a fraction of a point above Dwayne Haskins right now. They got a top 25 defense statistically, if you look at them. The last time, though, they beat Ohio State was 1991. That hangs over a program. Bill, I'm not sure they've got what it takes to get it done this year, but they will be competitive, I'd imagine.
Yeah, they'll be competitive. We tend to play Indiana better in Ohio Stadium than over there. And I think this year we're going to have to be, like you said, with Ramsey, he's completing 71% of his passes. So what's that mean? That means they keep drives alive.
Right.
Not necessarily going over top a lot, but enough to keep you honest. But they're going to throw possession passes on third down, try to keep the ball away from the Ohio State offense. And they've done a good job, only giving up 21 points a game on the average. And the Michigan State, their last touchdown was real late in the game. So they've been playing everybody tough because they can keep the score close.
That's right. And he can run. He's a little bit of a run threat, too, can pick up first downs on third down. So that's an issue the Buckeye linebackers will have to address. By the way, salute to the Buckeye linebackers, all of them graded as champions. After a difficult performance against Tulane, none of them had a tackle. They answered mightily at Penn State. Let's talk a little bit more about what to expect from Indiana from their receiving core. They've got a kid named he's number 22. He was hurt last week. His name, Whop Philyor. Love it. Love it. Love that name. Urban was talking the other day about him, and he has stood out to him on tape. He had a 65-yarder for a touchdown against Michigan State. Even if he doesn't play, Bill, though, they're pretty talented at receiver. Yeah,
they got a couple of guys, several guys. A guy named Westbrook, a guy named Hale, but this Philyor is pretty good now. He has 84 yards in receptions. And, you know, he's a guy that's got just one touchdown, though. So, but they've had some injury situations. They have enough receivers, though, to hurt you. So that's why it's important we play great coverage on them.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Ohio State comes out from a physical standpoint, from an emotional standpoint. One of the things that has been discussed this week in the build-up to this game has been a reflection back to last year. November 4th, Ohio State coming on the heels of that big comeback win at home over Penn State. Remember that fourth quarter, how crazy it was? The next week, they went to Iowa City and got knocked out by Iowa. I mean, it wasn't even close. I don't have to remind you of what that game was like. That's the last time Ohio State lost a football game. They've won 10 in a row since then. Bill, there was a natural letdown in that game that I don't think we anticipated. Buckeyes hope to avoid that this week. Obviously, coming home for homecoming helps.
Well, here's the thing, too. That game at Iowa was our first real hostile crowd last year. And, you know, we got there, and all of a sudden, hats off to a really good football team. Indiana's a good football team, but they're nothing like Iowa was last year. So, and plus, winning at Happy Valley in one of the most hostile environments in all of college football should make us prepared for anything. And being a home game, it should be a good day for the Buckeyes.
Well, and you're right. Big picture view, right? If you look at college football this year, nobody's got a better win than winning at Happy Valley this year. Nobody's got a better win than that. As a matter of fact, at the end of the year, if you look at the resumes, nobody may have a better win than that at the end of the year.
Very possible.
If Penn State continues to win, going into that scenario at night, that intensity, rallying in the fourth quarter, there may not be a team in America that's going to have a better win than that. So that is, if things go as Ohio State hopes they go, that could be the difference maker. That could be the one that you're like, yeah, that's a no doubt, that's a playoff team, and off you go.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't write a script any better right now. The schedule is perfect for what we have to do. And let's face it, if we take care of business, don't beat ourselves, don't have a lot of penalties, do not let big plays occur anymore, then let's face it, the next big one will be the Michigan game.
No doubt.
And that's one this season itself.
Well, Michigan State, too, on the road. That'll be a difficult game in November 10th, I believe. That's when that game's scheduled. I look at that one as potentially, we got to see how MSU progresses, though. They've got a lot of questions to answer, too. But at their place, that could be a challenge. But, yeah, no doubt, when the Wolverines come here, that's going to be a lot of fun.
Throw the records away.
Because it's always fun. That's just how it is. So make sure you join us later on Friday evening, 7 o'clock, NBC4 at 7, Scarlet and Gray Weekly. Coach Conley and I will get you set for everything you need to know on the Buckeyes, look at, as well as the best damn band in the land, a little look at how they put a show physically on the field. It's very cool to see it behind the scenes. And, of course, join us for post-game coverage Saturday night here on NBC4. Have yourself a great weekend. We'll see you.